family, it's Pastor D, and I'm super excited to have you all join us for our Sunday service online. Today, I'm going to be bringing a word to challenge everybody who has felt parked in their purpose, who have felt stagnant in their growth and development. I hope this word blesses you, and I hope that you all will share this word with someone else who can be encouraged. Family, today's topic that I'm going to be coming from is authorized to move. Authorized to move. I believe that there is a difference between having a title and having traction. Some of us are having trouble with movement or momentum, and in today's age they say we have motion. If you got motion, that means you have progression. And so many of us have entered into this new year declaring a new year, new me confession, but some of us are still operating in last year's momentum. And so you are sitting in the driver's seat of your destiny. The engine has started, the lights are on, the GPS is set to your greatness, but you are still in parked. You have not moved your gear shaft. This is the year of activation. Activation is impossible without understanding of authorization. If you do not understand authorization, it is impossible to activate. See, God is not waiting for you to feel ready. He is waiting for you to realize you are authorized. We have spent too much time asking God for permission to do what he has already commanded us to occupy. So you don't need a new word in this season. You don't need a new word or a new prophecy. You need to move on the word you already have. Today, I want to confront your hesitation. It is time to shift from the idling spirit of someday to the movement of right now. I want us to read in our Bibles Luke 10:19, and it says, I've given you the authority to trample on snakes and scorpions and to overcome all the power of the enemy. Nothing will harm you. We also must look at Matthew 28:18 and 19. It says, then Jesus came to them and said, all authority in heaven and earth has been given to me. Therefore, go and make disciples. Now, let's stop right there. In Luke 10, Jesus is speaking to ordinary disciples. He sends them out into a hostile environment. Now, notice the sequence. He doesn't give them the shield first. He gives them authority. And so, in the Greek word, this word for power or authority is exousia, and it means to delegate power or have the legal right to act. Again, authority or power. Jesus is telling them, I'm not just giving you a badge to wear. I'm not just giving you something to wear on your sleeve or your shirts to just show something. I'm giving you a seal. And so I'm giving you the right to enforce the law of the kingdom in a territory that is occupied by the enemy. See, authority is exercised. It's not announced. And so we are waiting for a feeling, but God is waiting for a footstep. And so the misconception of your announcements is we live in a culture that's obsessed with announcing. We announce our goals. We announce brand deals. We announce intentions. We announce all of these things. And it's too many announcements and not enough action. But the kingdom doesn't move by announcements. The kingdom moves by exercise. And so in Luke 10:19, the Bible says, you have authority to trample. Trample is an action. If you have the authority to trample snakes, but you stay on the couch, the snake still controls the floor. So what God is confronting here is your passive spirituality. You are praying for God to remove something, and God is saying, I'm waiting on you to get up and move. I gave you the boots to walk over it. I gave you the boots to trample, but you are still sitting on the couch. You cannot exercise authority over what you are secretly in partnership with. The text says we have authority over all the power of the enemy. If you are still flirting with the habits, if you are still entertaining the old mindset, if you are going in toxic cycles of 2025, your authority will be muffled. So authority is tied to authorship. If God is the author of your life, he authorizes your move. And so we have to understand the mandate of this movement. In Matthew 28, Jesus said, all authority is mine, therefore go. Go is, again, action. Some of you all are praying to have spiritual authority in certain areas of your life, but haven't made any movements. How do you know what you're capable of if you never try? In order to see results in the gym, you got to get up and go every day. Some of you don't get up and go and wonder why you don't see results in your body. Now, Now, if we want to take it to biblical terms, we can look at Moses. The Red Sea did not part while Moses was in his tent. It parted when his staff hit the water. And so we have to understand that if we want to activate in our lives, then we have to have authorization, but our authorization has to come into alignment with what God said. And so we have to understand who we are authorized by. I want to give you practical terminology for this. Imagine a vehicle that has been sitting in the driveway for 3 years. This vehicle has twin turbo engine, 4-wheel drive. It was designed to conquer and go up mountains. This vehicle is phenomenal, okay? It has a panoramic sunroof. This vehicle is crazy, but it has been sitting for 3 years in the driveway. Now, the owner will get in the vehicle and start the vehicle up, listen to the sound of the vehicle, the lights, the bells, the whistles come on in the dashboard. The owner will even watch the gas slowly go out of the vehicle because it's just sitting and turned on. And some of you are just like this vehicle. Some of you will come to church, you get the word, it makes your spirit happy, but you never shift out of neutral. You are consuming kingdom fuel, the sermons, the worship, the prayer, the fasting, all of these things, and you have zero mileage. And an idling car is a tragedy of wasted resources. The same with the believer. You have all of these gifts and talents, but you have no motion, no momentum, no movement. And so when you are in neutral, you are using the same energy to stay still that you could have to make it to your destination, to make it to your promised land. You are burning gas on your potential without even reaching your purpose. God is not fueling you so that you can sound good in the driveway. God is not pouring into you so you can remain still, you parked believer. You have been authorized to move. God is fueling you so you can gain ground in the territory you have been authorized to move in. Now, here's where it gets tricky because some of you have the illusion of participation. What do you mean, Pastor D? You're faking like you're moving. The most dangerous feature of a modern believer is a parked believer. This is a believer who is in park, but has a great view of God's work, God's miracles. This is the illusion of participation, is a believer whose purpose is in parked, but they have a panoramic sunroof. See, we've reached a place where we have been comfortable being stationary because we have a great view. See, sitting in park, you look out your window and you see what's happening in front of you or on the side of you, but you look out your sunroof to see what's happening in the season, what's happening in the atmosphere, and what's happening in your environment. This is how you know if you're in a raining season, you're in a drought season, you have a season of overflow or prosperity because you look up and out of your sunroof. And so you have to look up to see what type of environment you're in. You sit in the driver's seat of your life with a glass roof, a panoramic sunroof, watching everyone else drive by. The sunroof ain't your friend in this season. It will have you seeing breakthroughs out of the glass. It will have you seeing people miracles, but you will have missed moments in the spirit. You will miss kingdom opportunities. You will miss blessings and overflow for your own life because you have this illusion of participation, the illusion of connection without the requirement of contribution. God is saying you got to come out of this parked season. You're looking out of your sunroof and you see what's happening in the atmosphere, but it's no contribution to the atmosphere. It will have you seeing breakthroughs but not experiencing breakthroughs. Because you have a panoramic view, you feel like you are a part of the movement. You feel as if you are being a great part of something that God is doing in the atmosphere, but you are just being a spectator with the sunroof. The sunroof gives the illusion of connection, but you are really not contributing anything. And so you can see the snakes and the scorpions you were supposed to trample, but because you have been behind the glass, because you have been in part, because you are not moving, you don't feel the urgency to move anymore because you are being behind the glass. See, the tragedy in a panoramic view from a parked vehicle, it only serves to document your regrets. The more you are in part, the more you have regrets. You are watching God do for others what he has authorized you to do simply because you chose comfort over being obedient. You chose comfort over the friction. 2026 is the year God will crack the glass over your life. He's calling you to come into alignment, to stop watching the atmosphere and start occupying your lane. You have been authorized to move. See, what happens when you are spiritually parked is a few things. The battery starts to die. This is when your spiritual sensitivity is maintained by movement. And so if you don't use the charge God gives you, you lose the capacity to start when you want to. This is why when you go to start a car, sometimes it doesn't start because the battery is dead. Some of you lose your spiritual sensitivity and your battery is dying because you never used it. Because it's been sitting for so long, now it doesn't even know how to start up anymore because you never flexed that muscle, because you never occupied what was supposed to move you, has caused you to be stuck and stagnant for so long. So now the car don't even know how to start anymore. The car loses its function because it doesn't know what to do. The second thing is the tires will go flat. And this is when you stay in a position too long, you lose the roundness or the balance of life. Your vehicle has been parked so long, the tires go flat. It's staying in the same position. Watch this. You're on that couch so much. Now you're in that bed laying down so much. Now you got bed sores because you're resting too much. You're too comfortable and your body is becoming sick and tired of being sick and tired. Your body is becoming in pain for being in the same position for too long. And so now you grow spiritually flat, just like a tire will go flat. Now you are spiritually flat. Your perspective has become distorted. The third thing is the oil will settle. The anointing oil is meant to circulate. If the oil settles in a parked life, the anointing becomes stagnant and the engine of your heart begins to seize up with bitterness because the car that is capable of driving, but it's always being parked. So it's feeling the breeze of other cars going by, and now it starts to get jealous because why is this car going by me so fast when I was authorized to move too, but I'm staying parked? So I should be moving, but I'm always parked. So now I have regret. Now I have bitterness because all of these other cars are doing what I have been authorized to do. The fourth thing is the destination will start receding. Every moment you stay in park, the gap between where you are and where God called you to be will begin to grow wider and wider. And so now you have to ask yourself, are you a driver or are you just a resident of the driver's seat? It's time for you to take your foot off the brake of fear and put your weight on the acceleration of authority. And so how do we do this? How do we stop being in part? How do we stop being stagnant? And how can we start activating our life? I'm glad you asked. The first thing is you have to audit your language. Stop saying I'm trying. The language of authority is I am sent. When you are sent, the resources of the sender are at your disposal. You have the resources of the sender. The second thing is the 24-hour rule of obedience. When God gives you a prompt, when God gives you something to do, an instruction to sow, to speak, to quit, to start, do it within 24 hours. That's the 24-hour rule. The third thing is you have to confront the scorpion in the room. What is the one thing you have been afraid to tackle? Is it the difficult conversations? Is it filing for the business license? Is it the deliverance from a secret habit you have? You have to use your exousia. Step on it today. Use what God has given you to confront the scorpion in the room. So you have to audit your language. Follow the 24-hour rule of obedience. Confront your scorpion. God has been patient with you and heard all of your excuses. But some of you all are saying, well, when this happens, then I will start doing this, God. When I can just get out of debt, then I'll start moving in my purpose. When I can clear this up, or when I get done with this, then God, I will start this. Do not mistake God's patience as an endorsement for your spiritual paralysis. We are in a season where the window of opportunity is aligned with a specific divine timing. If you miss the move, you miss the momentum. This is the year of activation. God is authorizing you to move. And so some of you all have been playing it small because you are afraid of the snakes and the scorpions. But like in Luke 10 and 19, it says, I have given you the authority to trample on snakes and scorpions. In Luke 10, It says this. But later on in Luke 10, it says, nothing will harm you. Nothing, no thing will harm you. And so this tells me all I needed to know. Nothing will harm you. Your safety is not found in standing still. Your safety is found in moving under his authority. Your safety is found under moving in his authority. You have to move under the authority, and that's where your safety is found. The spirit of hesitation is breaking off of those who are watching and believing God for something new in their life. The spirit of not enough is being trampled on. So you have a legal right to succeed in your divine assignment that God has given you. And I pray that it's being activated in this moment, because you have to identify these areas where God is calling you to identify the territory you have to trample on the snakes and the scorpions. See, it's very important that we understand that it's time for us to step into our next level. And in order to step into our next level, we must understand we have been given the authority to move. So as you step, you are signaling to the heavens that you are no longer in park, and you're shifting out of the park setting into the drive setting. The King has authorized you. The Spirit has empowered you. Now it is time to move. If this word has blessed you, I pray that you will share it with someone. And I pray that if you are led to sow, all the ways of giving are coming up on the screen. I love you, and I'll see you next week.